Good morning to you. I live in a shoe. My office is plain white. My bedroom is blue. Yeah, that's my intro, and that's the best I got. So, I'm your resident active advocate. And how are we today, peoples? So, today I would like to talk about a book called The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. And I cannot remember the name of the author. If I remember before the end of this video, I will inform you. But this book is not only inclusive of a disability narrative, but it is also a mystery novel. So I'm not going to give away the plot. This episode might be a little bit shorter, but I will go over the basic plot of this thing just so you have your bearings straight when you go to read it. So Christopher, our protagonist, is a boy who has autism, and as I've said in earlier episodes I've done on characters who have autism, there's like the higher functioning, quotation marks, kind, and the lower functioning, quotation marks, kind, and Christopher would be, quotation marks, higher functioning. So his social skills are but he's also very good in many of his school subjects, especially when it comes to the sciences and mathematics, especially. Mathematics is a science. A lot of people don't know that. But what happens in this book is that Christopher is confronted with a mystery of who killed his neighbor's dog. You know, because he finds this dog just laying there on the ground dead one morning. And he says to himself, you know, I have the intellectual resources to solve this mystery. And it would be an interesting little trip for me to take mentally, I suppose. May have been his mental process, but also the fact that, of course, he was traumatized by seeing this dead animal just lying there. And he goes to his father, firstly, and asks him for any information he might know. And he's definitely treating this as a detective would treat a case. But his father basically says to him, for my sake, for your sake, don't get involved in what happened here. Because, number one, quotation marks, you're just going to embarrass yourself or you're just going to embarrass me. Number two, you could get in a lot of trouble if you go poking your nose into business that doesn't concern you at all. So part of the disability narrative in this book is that people with autism are, quote, stupid, or that they don't have the mental resources to solve a problem that confronts them, but also that if they attempt to do so, they're just going to fail anyway, so don't even bother. That's the general idea that the father is sort of very subtly trying to put forward to Christopher to discourage him from taking this case upon himself. And I hope that the subtext of what I have just said does not spoil anything for anyone. And I hope that that doesn't spoil anything for anyone. But read the book. It is very interesting because Christopher is capable of solving the mystery. And later on in the book, he also takes an extended trip to go and see someone whom he had believed to be dead earlier on in his life and earlier on in the narrative of this book. And he is able to use long distance public transit. So we're talking trains and buses and, you know, all these different ways that he's able to get around. He's able to do this independently. And another narrative that often surrounds people with autism is that they are incapable of doing things independently. There's a good deal when it comes to intellectual disability. There's a good deal more, I find, of the infantilization, and we'll get to that we're going to touch on, not just touch on, but do a sub-series on the attitude of infantilization. We're going to touch on that after I am through with this book series. And the narrative that often surrounds autism and other forms of intellectual disability is you cannot, and therefore we will not let you try, because there's no point in trying. We've already determined that you can't. And judging someone by an external and untested standard does not, in my mind, make sense. And I think that that is one of the ways in which this book is saying our society has the potential to evolve beyond doing this to people who we just don't understand, because they are, long word here, neuroatypical, okay? Neurotypicality basically just refers to someone whose brain, heavy quotation marks, doesn't work normally. You know how much I like the word normal, right? But that refers to people with autism, that refers to people with maybe some social differences, that refers to people with intellectual disabilities, just as an umbrella term. Autism itself is an umbrella term. You know, there's a lot of different conditions or disorders or mental differences, let's just say mental differences, that can fit under that umbrella. Christopher is a highly intelligent kid, a very intelligent individual, and at the end of the book, he sits his mathematics A-levels, and he passes with the highest grade possible to get in the mathematics A-level, which is something that no one else in his school has yet accomplished. So not only is Christopher very good in the maths and sciences, but he is also very good at just regular old deductive reasoning that will lead from this to this. You know, deductive reasoning is, I have these components. What do they make when I put them together? To deduce is to put pieces of a puzzle together into one narrative. So his deductive reasoning skills are absolutely fantastic. And mathematics and the sciences requires deductive reasoning a lot of the time. It's just what people would generally refer to as, quote, logic, you know, but that word also encompasses a lot of different intellectual aspects. But when it comes to Christopher, it is proved by the end of the book that he is very intelligent, has the capability of being independent, and should be permitted by his society, by his caretakers, to exercise that independence, because he's not dumb. Don't treat people, and this is me talking now, not the narrative, don't treat people as though they are stupid unless you know what conditions they face and unless you know what they are actually capable of doing. Don't just go in without having tested someone's potential and automatically assume because they are different, it means that they are lesser, you know? And I know that's very SJW of me to say, but I wear the SJW, Social Justice Warrior, badge proudly and unironically. All right, so that is my analysis of The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime, and I still can't remember the name of the author. It's a very specific title, though. Just Google it. And hopefully you read this book, as well as the others I have thus far analyzed and recommended, because they're all very good. Well, okay, not all, but they're good narratives that show where society progresses and how society can progress when it comes to disability narratives. All right, so I will see y'all tomorrow for another book analysis. Can't remember what book it is, but I have a list. Woot. All right. Have a wonderful cloudy day, or sunny day. I don't know what it's doing where you are, but today it is clouding outside, and that's fun. All right, so fare thee well. Read, and I will see you tomorrow. Mwah!